Hey, it's SJ and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Sarah Jane. I'm a lifestyle vlogger here on YouTube, and I'm starting a new series on my channel called Money Mondays. And Money Mondays is gonna be, well, it's gonna start out to be my debt-free journey, which I'm really excited about. If you guys have watched me for a while, you would know that back in 2017, I initially started a debt-free journey to pay off $7,000 in credit card debt, and I did that, and it was awesome, and it was super liberating, and it was a great feeling. And now I'm kind of like going through the process of again where I've accumulated a little bit of debt, and I am wanting to pay it off. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you how I got into debt, why I'm motivated to start paying off my debt, and how I plan on doing it. So stay tuned. If you're new here though, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe so that way you can know when I release new Money Monday videos. As the name suggests, these videos will be going up on Mondays. I don't know if it'll be every week or every other week, but my goal is to at least upload every other Monday. All right, so let's start off with how I got into debt. So I have two main debts. I have an auto loan and I have credit card debt. We'll start with the story behind the auto loan. So initially in college, I had a small blue Ford Focus, super cute. It was a great car, but it didn't have automatic locks or windows, and it was a stick shift, and both of these things like really annoyed me. And so when I graduated and got into the Army, I really wanted to get a new car. Now I want to add that I don't have any student loan debt at this time because I was on a full ride scholarship when I was in college. It was a great scholarship. They paid for room and board, tuition, books, and I got an additional stipend every month. So great scholarship. So I definitely start off my life without any debt. But with that being said, I didn't really know back in the day how to like manage money and like budget money very well because I never really like dealt with money, and then suddenly I was in the Army and I had like this paycheck. So the first thing I did was after I got back from my first deployment, I bought a car. So this isn't an excuse, but when you're an officer, there's definitely like a stigma to have like a nice car. They call it like the captain mobile or the lieutenant mobile, depending on your rank. And there's just a lot of like jabs about, oh yeah, like you're an officer, you're supposed to have a nice car. So I fed into it, and you know, it is what it is and whatever. But so I went car shopping. I really wanted a four-door white Jeep with brown leather interior. I didn't want to buy it brand new just because of how much the car decreases in value once you drive it off the lot. So I did look for a used one. I ended up finding a 2015, everything I wanted. Four-door white hard top, brown leather interior. Initially I was planning on getting the baseline model, and once again, something about me, if you don't know, I'm very much into audio. The baseline sport model had a terrible stereo system, so I did decide to bump up to a Sahara because it comes with a much better system inside the car. And the car was initially priced at $42,000, which is a lot of money for a car. This is back in 2016, so especially a lot of money for a car. And I didn't really like consult my family or anything like that. I brought my boyfriend at the time, he's now my ex, I brought him with me when I was car shopping, thinking like, oh, I gotta have a guy with me, like, you know, I won't get screwed over, because I was very much used to my dad and my brothers just like really taking like care in terms of guiding me through big financial decisions or just like life decisions. But my boyfriend at the time was very like quiet about the whole thing. I don't think he even really knew what to do in the situation because he hadn't bought a new car before, and so it was like the blind leading the blind. I realized I never said the reason why behind that story about why I wish I had had like my dad and my brother, because they would have encouraged me to negotiate on the price of the Jeep, and I didn't do that. I just gave them their asking price, which in retrospect is a huge mistake. But I was young and I didn't really know what I was doing, and you know, I'm not trying to make an excuse, but the reality is I didn't know what I was doing and I just wanted a car. So I did not negotiate down that price, which you should do. The Jeep was $42,000, and I traded in my Ford Focus. I got $6,000 for it, making my note $36,000, which is still a lot of money for a car. I got on a 5-year payment plan, and it was $640 a month for my car, which is absolutely absurd. When I initially paid off my credit card debt back in 2017, it wasn't even a concept to me to try to pay off my car because I just had the car for like a year, so I wasn't too worried about it. So that's how I have an auto loan. Now let's go into the credit card debt. And I'm not gonna talk too much into detail about the credit card debt just because it sucks so much. It sucks so much, but I do want to tell you guys how like I got into credit card debts. So pretty much back in 2019 when I learned I was going to be getting out of the Army, I put a ton of money into savings. I saved up $10,000. And when I got out of the Army, I used that money to move from Kansas to New York City because that's where I got a job. The move to New York City ended up not taking up the full $10,000, but pretty dang close. And when I moved to New York City, it's definitely a place like where you spend a lot of money and you don't really like save a lot. So the leftover money stayed in savings, but I didn't necessarily contribute a lot of money to savings. And I didn't like save as much money as I could have in New York City. I kept my car in the city, which was an additional $400 a month on top of the $640 payment I was already making. So that's over $1,000 just to have a car in the city. So I wish I hadn't really done that. I didn't have any credit card debt while I was in New York City. Well, then in 2020, COVID happened and I was laid off and the severance package wasn't a lot and the unemployment took a while to kick in. I was really fortunate where I was able to stay with family and friends until while I was like trying to figure out what my next steps were going to be. And I was very strategic in that I used it to do a career pivot and everything kind of worked out for the best. I ended up then moving out of New York City into near the DC area. And that move was very expensive. I mean, the move alone to hire the movers was $3,500 and that was essential because I lived on the 6th floor. So things like that really added up and that is how I ended up accruing credit card debt, was from that move, trying to establish in a new place, and it's put me where I'm at today, where I do have some credit card debt due to the impact of COVID-19. So that's how I got into debt, from these two different sources, and now I want to talk about what motivated me to start paying off debt fiercely. So if you've watched my last two videos, you will see that I got accepted into Georgetown and I am really excited to be starting my master's in public relations. However, I will be having to take out student loans later in the future. And I sat down one day and I calculated, well, when will I have to start paying off student loans? And I realized that the month after I finish paying off my auto loan, I will have to start paying off student loans. And that really sickened me to think that as soon as I finished one debt, I was gonna have to immediately start on another debt. And it was just too much for me to handle emotionally. I was like, I cannot continuously be living and like paying debt after debt. And so that made me realize that I wanna pay off my debt. So how I plan on doing it is the Total Money Makeover by Ramsey. That's what I did the first time when I paid off my credit card debt, and it worked for me. I am going to do a bit of a modified version, which I will get into in a later video, but I'm really excited to do it. And I'm first tackling my auto loan debt because that's the lower debt, which is part of the Dave Ramsey system. You start with the smaller debt first. And so yeah, so I'm really excited to share my journey of how I'm going to be paying off my car. I'm really excited. I want to be able to share this. One, I think a lot of people can relate, but then two, I actually love talking about money, which I think was why I went into fundraising back in the day, is because I love seeing where money is going and how it's allocated. And so two, I love talking about money. And then three, I just think that I could use somebody to keep me accountable, and I think making these videos and hoping to connect with people here on YouTube about debt and like getting out of debt would be a really great system to keep me accountable. And so anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and sharing my debt-free journey. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and comment below. That will really help me with the algorithm. Let me know in the comments below if there's a particular debt that you're trying to pay off and what method you're using, because I'd be really interested, because I've only ever used Dave Ramsey. And yes, that's about it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next week on the next Money Mondays. Bye.